Welcome to the deep dive. We take complex source material and boil it down into what you really need to know. Today, we're looking at something potentially huge, a shift in how we actually use the internet every day.
Yeah, and maybe it's about time, honestly. We've been digging into the research, and it's kind of staggering. University of California figures show the average adult is online over 7 hours a day.
Mm.
7.
Every single day. But a lot of that time, it's not exactly productive, is it? It feels more like wrestling with information.
Exactly. And that grind leads to what Stanford researchers call digital fatigue. Apparently, it hits around 70% of us. We're just tired. Tired of endless searching, endless tabs, just trying to get a straight answer. It often feels, well, chaotic.
Just chaotic, yeah. A chaotic expedition, as some put it.
Which brings us to OpenAI, the name everyone knows for AI. They think they've built the answer. It's called ChatGPT Atlas, launched just yesterday, October 21st, 2025. And it's not just another browser. They're calling it an AI agent.
An agent, that's the word that jumps out, right? Not just a passive window. So our mission today is pretty clear. We need to unpack this thing, figure out how it mixes AI and browsing, if it really makes things more efficient, and importantly, look hard at the ethical side, the practical side, of letting an AI take the reins more.
Let's dive in and see if Atlas is the smart assistant we've been hoping for, or maybe just adds another layer of complication we didn't ask for.
Okay, let's start with the basics, the technical foundation. Because trying to build a whole new browser to compete with Chrome or Safari, that's a mountain to climb. Atlas did something smarter.
They really did. It's built on Chromium, the same engine under Chrome, Edge, lots of others. Now, for anyone who follows this stuff, that's a really big deal.
Why is that so significant?
Well, it means Atlas instantly gets stability, performance, basic security, stuff that took Google and others, decades to refine. It's like starting on third base.
Right, so you don't have to worry about your favorite Chrome extensions suddenly not working. Atlas should be compatible right out of the gate.
Exactly, that hurdle's cleared. But the real difference is that the ChatGPT part isn't just bolted on, it's native, woven right into the browser itself. No clunky add-ons slowing things down.
And that native integration is supposedly what powers these pretty incredible efficiency claims. We saw initial tests, I think TechRadar published some.
Yeah, they did. And they suggested Alice cuts down the number of searches you need for complex tasks by something like 40%.
40%, that's huge. That's not just making browsing a bit quicker, that fundamentally changes the search game, doesn't it?
It really could. I mean, think about it. If you, the user, are skipping 2 out of every 5 searches because Atlas just gives you the synthesized answer,
Yeah.
what does that do to the whole search ad model? It turns it on its head, potentially.
It shifts the focus. Instead of you doing the work of finding stuff across 10 tabs, Atlas does the synthesizing. You jump straight to the decision.
Yeah, like comparing product reviews or specs. Instead of opening tab after tab, you get a quick brief, much faster.
Okay, but hang on. Before we get too carried away, there's a catch with availability, right?
Yeah, big one, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, it's macOS only. They say Windows is coming soon, but let's be real. Over 80% of the world uses Windows PCs. So OpenAI has a massive adoption challenge if they don't get that Windows version out fast.
Definitely something to watch. Okay, so let's talk features. The things that make Atlas feel different. Function number 1. The Ask ChatGPT Copilot.
This is clever. It puts the AI right where you are. So instead of copying text or a URL and pasting it into the ChatGPT website,
Which everyone does.
right, instead there's just a little button right there on the address bar. You click it, and you can ask ChatGPT questions about the page you're currently on.
Okay, practical example. So if I'm looking at a long, dense news article.
You could just ask Atlas, hey, summarize this in 3 bullet points.
Yeah.
Or the sources mentioned a demo with running shoes, the Aaron ones. You could ask, based on these specs and reviews, are these good for marathon training?
And apparently, it doesn't just give dry answers. The sources mention it can have a bit of personality, even humor sometimes.
Yeah, they seem to be aiming for that, making it feel less like a database query and more like asking a smart, maybe slightly witty assistant. Helps with adoption, makes it feel less robotic.
Makes sense. But then there's function 2. And this sounds like the really big leap, agentic browsing.
This is the core of it, yeah. And where we really need to pay attention, this is where Atlas moves from assisting you to potentially acting for you, an autonomous agent.
Autonomous. Okay, hold on. That means the AI can actually do things in the browser, like take actions. Are we talking about giving up control here?
Yeah.
What about mistakes? What if it books the wrong flight or buys the wrong thing?
That's the crucial question, isn't it? And one you, the listener, really need to think about. OpenAI stresses it only acts with your explicit permission. Think of it like a very polite butler. It asks first, shall I proceed? But once you say yes, it does the thing.
Okay, so what kinds of things are we talking about letting it do?
Well, the examples given are mostly tedious, repetitive tasks. Booking complex flights with multiple legs, filling out those awful long online forms, government forms, health forms, you know the ones, or organizing a big online shopping order like an Instacart order with lots of different items. And this one's really interesting. Apparently, it could even try to negotiate small discounts on certain shopping sites.
Negotiate. Seriously. The AI haggles.
That's what the report suggests, yeah. And this isn't just smoke and mirrors. It's powered by their advanced models, like GPT-4o, which can do complex, step-by-step reasoning. There's actually scientific backing for this kind of thing, too.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
There was a paper in Nature Machine Intelligence last year, 2024. It found that these kinds of autonomous AI agents can cut down human errors on repetitive digital tasks by up to 60%.
60% fewer errors.
It's down to reinforcement learning, basically. The AI practices the task, learns from mistakes, gets better over time. Self-correction. Humans, we get tired, distracted when filling out the same form for the 10th time. The machine doesn't. So fewer typos, fewer missed fields.
Wow. Okay, that 60% figure is a pretty compelling argument for letting the butler take over some tasks, but how easy is it to even get this thing running, especially if they want mass adoption?
For Mac users right now, it seems really smooth. Download from the website chatgpt.com, Atlas, drag it to applications, log in with your OpenAI account, standard Mac install. Then it offers to import your bookmarks and history from Chrome or Safari. Pretty frictionless.
They clearly want to make switching easy. And what's the early buzz? Are people actually liking it?
Anecdotally, yes. The reports from early testers, like stuff popping up on Reddit, sound quite positive. People seem genuinely almost delighted watching it do things, like seeing it try to haggle a small discount on Amazon, or even asking it to make a funny meme out of a dry, boring work document they had to read.
Huh. Okay, so there's a bit of fun factor, too. Finding joy in the process, as one source put it, that definitely helps adoption.
Absolutely. It's not just about pure efficiency. If it's engaging, people are more likely to try it and maybe get over that hesitation about letting an AI do things.
Which brings us right back to the big one. Privacy. Trust. If this agent is booking my flights, maybe seeing my shopping carts, potentially filling out forms, it knows a lot. How is OpenAI handling that? Because that's a huge barrier for many people.
They seem very aware of that. The focus is heavily on what they call granular controls, meaning you, the user, are supposed to have very specific control over what Atlas sees and remembers.
Granular how? Can you give an example?
Sure. So you could potentially tell it, okay, Atlas, you can see and act on travel sites like Expedia and on my Instacart account. But you are not allowed to access or remember anything related to my online banking, my health portals, or my private emails. Setting clear boundaries.
Okay, so definable zones of operation.
Exactly. And critically, OpenAI is adamant that none of this browsing data is used to train their big AI models unless you explicitly actively opt in. It's not buried in the terms of service. It requires a specific yes from you.
That transparency piece feels vital. People need to feel they're in control if they're going to trust an AI with this much potential access.
Totally. And groups like the EFF, the Electronic Frontier Foundation, have been saying for ages that this kind of transparency and user control, real granular control, is fundamental for building trust in powerful AI. Atlas seems to be trying to build that trust from day one.
Okay, let's zoom out a bit. The bigger picture. If Atlas works as advertised, what does this mean for the browser market? For Google, basically.
Well, the analysts are already making some pretty bold predictions. We saw projections from The Verge suggesting Atlas could grab maybe 10 to 15% of the browser market in its first year alone.
10 to 15% in year one. That's not niche. That's a serious challenger breathing down Chrome's neck.
It really is, and it marks a potential shift, making this kind of advanced AI help the default way people access the web, not just something enthusiasts use.
Yeah.
But, with that potential comes significant challenges. We need some cautious optimism here.
Right. Challenge number one has to be that privacy versus control tension, long term. The controls might be granular now, but what happens if Atlas gets really popular and starts integrating with, say, financial planning tools or digital ID systems?
Exactly. Experts quoted in places like the Washington Post were already warning about that. As the AI gets involved in more sensitive parts of your digital life, the potential risks just scale up dramatically. Are we building something that becomes too convenient, too powerful to easily step away from?
A valid concern. What's challenge too?
That comes more from the academic side.
Yeah.
The risk of overdependence and bias.
Bias? How so? I thought the AI was just summarizing or booking things.
Well, research highlighted in journals like AI and Society back in 2023 showed that these large AI models, like the GPT family, can accidentally pick up and even amplify biases present in the massive amounts of text and data they learn from.
So if the training data mostly reflects, say, Western shopping habits or news perspectives.
Then Atlas, when it summarizes an article or recommends a product or even negotiates a price, might unintentionally filter things through that lens. It could potentially misrepresent or downplay information important to other groups or cultures.
So the AI isn't neutral, its helpful actions could still carry hidden biases from its training.
Precisely. It's a powerful tool, no doubt. But you, the user, absolutely need to keep your critical thinking cap on. Question the summaries, double-check the recommendations. Don't let the sheer convenience lull you into accepting everything it presents without scrutiny.
Critical engagement is key. Don't outsource your brain entirely. Okay, and challenge 3.
That's the scaling issue we mentioned earlier. It's great for English-speaking Mac users right now. But that's a sliver of the global internet population. To be truly transformative, OpenAI needs to nail a Windows version, add many more languages, and prove it works reliably across different cultures and contexts.
Otherwise, it risks being a really cool, powerful tool for a relatively small group, not the global shift it could be.
Exactly. It could end up as a niche product for the tech elite, rather than democratizing AI for everyone.
So wrapping this up then, Atlas feels like a genuinely significant step. It's moving web interaction from purely reactive, you search, you click, to something more proactive, with the browser acting as a partner.
It really is a paradigm shift. We're moving beyond the digital equivalent of a paper map where you plot every single step towards something more like a smart GPS that not only guides you, but can also, pick up the groceries on the way.
That's a great analogy. So the core takeaway seems to be, Atlas offers a massive boost in web efficiency, potentially saving huge amounts of time and effort. But using it well requires more conscious thought, more deliberate choices about control and trust from us, the users.
And thinking about the source material overall, it really pushes us to consider that balance between innovation and, well, our own human agency. The success here isn't just technical, it's about the kind of relationship we decide to have with these incredibly capable AI tools.
Which brings us to our final thought for you to mull over. As we embrace the convenience, and let's be honest, the appeal of having an AI handle tedious online chores, how do we make sure we keep the right balance? How do we ensure this powerful agent remains a tool that enhances our judgment rather than subtly replacing it?
Yeah, that's the core question, isn't it? It boils down to a personal negotiation you're making. How much of your direct control, your moment-to-moment decision-making online, are you willing to hand over to an autonomous AI for that promise of 40% faster browsing or saving a few bucks here and there? Think about where you draw that line, because that negotiation starts now.